Blake Shelton, the larger-than-life country superstar, has a secret that is as startling as a plot twist in a country ballad. This secret is located in the heart of Nashville, where the twang of guitars and the hum of country music saturates the air. Blake, who is well known for his hits that top the charts, his charismatic presence on The Voice, and his love for a good, old-fashioned country lifestyle, has a peculiar habit when he is away from the stage and out of the spotlight. When he is at home, he listens to only one artist on repeat for what he refers to as 24 hours of pure musical devotion. However, who could this artist be? And why does Blake, who is surrounded by some of the most talented voices in the industry, restrict his favorites on his home playlist to just one musician? The solution is not found in the honky-tonks of Nashville or in the glittering award presentations. Rather, it is found in the peaceful moments that occur at Blake's expansive ranch in Oklahoma, when the only sound that can be heard reverberating throughout the home is the soulful and ageless voice of George Jones. Yes, the iconic country corner, known as the Possum, whose unfiltered feelings and ability to convey stories have left an everlasting influence on the genre. When it comes to Blake, it is not simply a matter of listening to music. Rather, it is about completely submerging himself in a universe in which each and every note and lyric feels like a discussion with a friend for life. Why choose George Jones? In order to comprehend this, it is necessary to investigate Blake's origins. The world in which Blake was raised was one in which country music was more than simply a form of entertainment. It was a way of life. Blake was born in Ada, Oklahoma. The stalwarts of the genre like his Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, and George Jones were among his main sources of inspiration in his early years. On the other hand, Jones, with his emotionally agonizing songs and unparalleled vocals delivery, managed to strike a chord with Blake that proved to be enduring. The words George sings like he's lived every word once spoken by Blake during an interview setting. "I don't require variety when I'm at home," she said. "I require the truth. There is no one who sings the truth quite like George Jones. His sanctuary is his home, which is a rustic getaway located far away from the hustle and bustle of Nashville. Through this experience, he is able to shed the famous persona and transform into simply Blake, a man who is passionate about his music, his dogs, and his land. A high-end music system is routed through each and every room, from the comfortable living space with its leather couches to the expansive veranda that looks out over the fields. The configuration is straightforward. Also, what is being played? George Jones's best singles, live performances, and even obscure bites are included in this meticulously curated playlist, which also has an unending loop of the songs. Blake adds with a grin spreading across his face. "It's almost as if George is right there with me. It doesn't matter if I'm preparing supper, repairing a fence, or simply sitting with a beer. George is always there to keep me company. He's always doing something." This preoccupation is not merely a peculiarity. Rather, it is a routine. Gwen Stefani, Blake's wife, has even made light of the situation by saying that she has had to memorize the words to "Stop Loving Her Today" in order to keep up with the continuous soundtrack. But that is clear to Gwen. Through the music of George, she is able to see how Blake is grounded, how it connects into his background, and how it connects into the spirit of the country music. In an open and honest moment, Gwen revealed that Blake possesses a large personality, but that is when he is at home. He is reflective. In terms of music, George Jones is comparable to his soulmate. It's just stunning. It is. Taking everything into consideration, the selection of George Jones makes perfect sense. When Jones spoke, his voice had the ability to pierce through the background noise and convey unfiltered feelings that could make you laugh, cry, or simply nod your head in agreement. Songs like As the Grand Tour, which tells a heartbreaking story of heartbreak and choices, which is a point. Reflection on life's missteps, resonate with Blake's own musical approach, which is genuine, relatable, and profoundly human. Blake's own hits, such as God's Country and Austin, carry that same storytelling DNA, and it is not a coincidence that he credits Jones as a major influence on his work. But the music itself is not the only thing that matters. Blake finds that listening to George Jones is a means for him to maintain a connection to the principles that are important to him, which include holds dear in a world where country music is always changing and where pop and hip-hop influences are gradually making their way into the genre. In a previous interview, Blake stated, "I enjoy listening to music of all genders, but when I'm at home, I don't want to hear anything that doesn't feel real." To put simply, George is the real deal. There is more to the concept of 24 hours of than merely hyperbole. The playlist that Blake has compiled is a marathon, a comprehensive exploration of Jones's catalog that spans decades. Classics such as White Lightning with its upbeat honky-tonk vibe, A Good Year for the Roses with its soul-crushing melancholy, and lesser-known tracks such as The King Is Gone, So Are You, which Blake adores for its quirky storytelling, is included in this collection. It is also possible for him to possess bootleg recordings of Joan live performances in which the possum's charisma and sense of humor are present. Between songs, the explanation that Blake gives us, you don't just listen to George, you can sense him. It feels as if he is sitting on your couch and expressing his heart out via every single story he recounts and every single crack in his voice. This preoccupation with a single artist does, of course, have its peculiarities. When Blake's friends come to visit the ranch, they frequently make fun of him for the lack of diversity. The longtime friend and fellow country musician Trace Adkins once made a joke about Blake Jones's home, saying, "When you walk into Blake's house, it's like stepping into a museum dedicated to George Jones." On the other hand, Blake is unfazed by it. The atmosphere will be set by Jones's voice as he fires up the grill, cracks opens a cold one, and begins to cook. However, the majority of the time, his visitors end up singing along with him because they are so enthralled by the beauty of Jones' music. In addition, Blake uses this practice as a means of paying tribute to a legendary figure who passed away in 2013, but whose impact continues to be significant. When asked about George, Blake replies, "He didn't just sing songs, he lived them. It's like I'm keeping a piece of him alive every time I play one of his records," she said. As a torchbearer for classic country music, which is a duty that Blake takes very seriously, this attitude strikes a chord with listeners who perceive Blake in this capacity. When it comes to an industry that is constantly looking for the next big thing, Blake's loyalty to George Jones serves as a reminder that there are times when the traditional methods are the most effective methods. Blake frequently finds himself sitting on the porch of his Oklahoma ranch as the sun begins to set. He is holding a glass of whiskey in his hand, and the voice of George Jones can be heard wafting through the evening air. It is a window of tranquility, a link to something that is more significant than himself. Blake chuckles and says, 2 hours of George Jones, and I'm a happy man. I'm a happy man. It is this simple act, listening to one artist day in and day out, that keeps him grounded, inspired, and true to his roots. This is especially true for a superstar who has experienced everything from the red carpet events to concert halls that are completely sold out. When it comes down to it, Blake Shelton's affection for George Jones is not only about music, it is also about identity, legacy, and the ability of a single voice to convey a story that never gets old. It is very evident that for Blake, 24 hours of George Jones is more than sufficient. Whenever he is at that ranch in Oklahoma, where the world seems to slow down and the music takes over.